I've seen a lot of comments recently from new players saying how they are struggling to even get out of the dungeon. And I know that for people who have been playing for a little while, it's hard to remember what it was like in the very, very beginning, but I thought I would do a quick video on some extraction recommendations. How to drop into the dungeon, not move around too much, and get out reliably. Because if you can do that a couple times in a row, then you really start to get some momentum in this game. So before we drop in, I just want to use my squire to give myself a free base kit of gear. So I don't need to spend any money on gear, and if I die, who cares? The stuff I'm going to lose doesn't cost me anything. So I'm here in my squire from the merchants, and this is the stuff I can pick from. I'm going to pick adventure boots, I'm going to pick cloth pants, I'm going to pick a doublet. These are the 3 pieces of armor I'm going to choose as a fighter. I'm going to choose a heater shield because it's the biggest and easiest shield to use. I'm going to choose a mace. I'm also going to choose an arming sword, and it's going to put that on my offhand because I like to switch between my arming sword and my mace depending on who I'm fighting. And for fun, I'll also put a buckler on too. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but I'll just have it. And then I definitely want my heals. I want my potion of healing, I want my bandage, I want my protection pot, and I want my throwing axe. So you can arrange these how you like. You don't have to have them all where they recommend them, but this is my starting gear. I'm going to set base gear, going to equip base gear. Okay, so now I've got my squire items equipped in my inventory, and we can see that here. Don't forget to go to your perks and skills. You might not have as many available, so just to simulate that, if I can only take one skill, it's going to be counterattack. Just because this gives me a little bit of a bonus. If I block first and then attack a mob, I attack a little bit faster, I move a little bit faster after I successfully block. Cool. So I got my perk, I've got my stuff. Just before I drop in, I want to take the potions off my belt. Because having potions off your belt means you're less visible in the dungeon. If you have a potion on your belt, people can see it very easily. People can see you very easily. So making sure you have no potions on your belt is really important. I'll also break out my potions individually, and I'll talk more about that later. Okay, so I've got my squire kit. I'm going to drop into Normal Goblin Caves, because this is the easiest map for new players, the easiest map to extract from successfully. The mobs, the PvE, are a bit less dense and a bit easier in this map, so I recommend it. Let's go. So here we are, dropping into the Goblin Caves, solo. You can see our starting location is indicated in the bottom right hand side of the screen. And the first thing to know is that you spawn into a square or a module, and no one else is going to spawn into your module. There's no one else going to be in your immediate area, but where you spawn in is random. And so the first thing to think about is, where can I go from my spawn? How am I going to get out of the dungeon? Nothing matters that I do in here unless I can get out. You can take a static staircase exit. See ya. You can take a rope ladder exit. You can take the communal elevator in the center of the map, in the center module, although I wouldn't recommend that for new players.
This is crazy.
Or you can take a portal stone that spawns in a certain location. So all the exits are static, they always appear in the same place, but your spawn is always different. So choosing your route from where you spawn to the exit is really important. And this spawn here in particular is really great because if you look at the bottom right hand side of the screen, I can see 2 exit locations on my minimap. They're marked by blue icons. There's a staircase icon, and there's kind of like a cactus icon. That's the rope ladder exit. I know from experience that the staircase icon there is a highly trafficked, very popular exit. So maybe I don't want to go that way. I want to plan my route to go to that rope ladder exit. You can see it's kind of on the edge of the map there. I can see the edge of the map coming into the mini-map. It's going to be a less popular destination. And if my goal here is to just loot up a little bit and get out, that's what I want to do. I want to pick an exit that's less traveled. So like I said, you're going to spawn in, and no one's going to be in your immediate area. You have a little bit of time to loot your module, move around. Ooh, I got a helmet, that's great. Get some treasure. But you do have to be aware of PvP. Sometimes people do move quickly through modules, and so what I like to do, if possible, is you can hit Shift F, you can close chests behind you to make it seem like no one's been through the area. You don't have to do this all the time, but it can be helpful in trying to convince people not to go the way you are because they think that there's no one here. Okay. Now that I've picked my exit, my next goal is to clear PvE and move towards that exit. So I'm going to go to the rope ladder, which means I'm going to move slowly through this module and then head to that icon and then clear any mobs that are around that exit icon. That's going to be my exit, and I'm going to guard it until the end. So I'm moving through. Some of these mobs can be scary, but most mob attacks can be dodged by simply strafing left and right. It can be tempting to try to get fancy, but all you have to do in a lot of cases, against mages, against archers, against bola, any ranged enemies, is just stop moving forward and move left or right. That's a really good tip against some of these goblin mobs. You can also control when a mob hits you. The AI in this game is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is bump them and then move backwards. You'll also notice that I turn my camera to the side. That's because the character moves faster when strafing left or right than walking straight backwards. So if I bump the mob and then I turn and move backwards, I'm more likely to get out of their range of attack. Bump, turn, and then attack once they've attacked me. Cool. So he's pretty weak. I can just finish him off. Great. I took a bit of damage there. It's going to happen. Even I take damage after many months of playing, fighting mobs. So I turn this lamp off just to give myself a dark space to heal. I'm going to put my potion on, and I'm going to heal in the dark. So healing in the dark gives me a chance to see anyone who might want to approach me before they see me. And you always want to have full health, if you can. If you've got the heals, taking a second to heal up to full. I probably didn't need to use my second bandage there, but that's okay. It's always an advantage to have full health, so you should do that whenever you can. The last thing I'll say here is you notice I said earlier about having individual potions. Why do I break them out individually? Because you can right-click. It automatically equips the pot to that open spot in my number 3 column. So all you have to do is right-click to equip things. It swaps it out, including things like throwing axes. And the reason I keep individual pots instead of stacks of pots is if I right-click to equip, and then I go and I drink this potion, once the potion is done, it's off my belt. So I'm back to being totally invisible in the dark, which is what I want. It's very easy to see when players have potions on their belt, so I keep individual potions so I can right-click, I can drink that potion, and then it's off my belt, and I'm back to being sneaky. So where was I? Right, I'm clearing mobs towards my exit icon. I'm also going to break any breakables and loot any chests on the way. Looks like I'm getting some gear upgrades. I didn't have any gloves, that's good. And for these runs where I'm just trying to loot up, I'm grabbing everything I find. When it comes to a situation where I've got no space left, I kind of decide what items are going to give me a better sell price. So green is better than grays or whites. Okay. So now I'm coming to the module where the exit is. And again, I want to clear PvE around this exit. So notice how easy it is to block ranged PvE with the shield. This is why I really recommend a shield for new players. Just remember to look up, because if you don't look up, you can get shot in the head very easily. The shield doesn't cover your head. You have to cover the enemy with the shield to make sure you block the attack. It's also possible just to move left and right. If you don't want to use the shield or can't use the shield, just again, moving left and right lets you dodge the enemy attacks very easily. Okay, so this guy's dead. Again, I'm going to bump this guy, move back, stay out of his way. Okay, so again, I took damage. I'm going to make this dark. I'm going to heal up. I'm going to right-click to put the potion on my belt. I'm going to drink it, and now it's off my belt, and I'm back to being totally hidden, which is great. I'm going to use my bandages. Okay, so here is the rope ladder, and we can see it's still available. Hard to see it swinging there, but it is. It's swinging there. And now my goal is to make this space a little bit dark and defend this space. I think I'll close the door behind me. Open this chest. I like this spot because I'm in a dark corner. These look good. I'll just equip them. I'm in a dark corner and I have high visibility of the whole module. So this is a great place to sit and wait to see if anyone's going to come by. In terms of players, you don't have to fight them. A lot of players don't expect you to hide in the dark and not attack. So if your goal is to just extract, you can find a dark spot of the map and just sit there and wait, and a lot of the times they'll move right through and leave the area. Or if they switch to their torch, it can be an advantage for you to start the fight. So you don't have to be waiting in the open. You can make a dark pocket, you can hide there, wait for your exit, or wait for the PvP to leave the area. Cool. The last thing I'll say is after you've cleared a space to your exit, the exit's here, you don't have to push into other spaces. In fact, as a new player just trying to extract, you should avoid moving into new spaces as often as you can, because new spaces means new mobs, means more noise, it means you're more likely to pull in or attract other players. If the goal is to just get out, then try to minimize the amount of new spaces you move into. So this rope ladder, I'm just going to turn this light on so we can see it, has come down from the top. It's ready for my extraction. This is a pretty good example of dropping in, choosing a route to an exit, clearing PvE to that exit. I talked a lot, so the timing is a little bit different. You might have more time to wait, but now the mine is starting to crumble. Let's get out of here. So I click F on it, and away I go. My stash isn't crazy full, but I have some treasure. I've got a lot of items to sell. Let's get out of here and see how much money I made. So quickly to the merchant. I'll sell my treasure. Cool. 33, and then just to a vendor, and I'll sell anything. I got a helmet upgrade, I got gloves. Do I want these boots? Yeah, I think I'll put these boots on. Okay, and I'll sell the rest, including the pickaxe for now. 75. So plus the 33, I got just over 100 gold, which is pretty good for my first run. And again, I didn't see anybody, there was no drama, I was very lucky. If I do that a couple times in a row, all of a sudden I've got a few hundred gold, and it makes it a lot easier to buy more meds, right? And to buy more bandages. And maybe even to buy a campfire, because a campfire is going to recharge some of your fighter abilities. It makes it a lot easier to snowball the game and to start getting some momentum. So hopefully this guide was helpful. It was a quick look at dropping in and extracting in the Goblin Caves. I wish you luck. I'll see you around.